Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Late Night Learning. I'm your host, Dr. Anthony Palumba. And today we're going to be wrapping up our lecture on social media marketing, part 1, or introduction for that matter. So we've kind of delved into what goes on with certain social media companies, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're also thinking about different ways that we can engage our customers, thinking about voice, thinking about customization of message as well. Today we're going to be wrapping up this lecture and we're going to be getting into Google Analytics a little bit. As an introduction, as we wade into the sea that is the Google Analytics program, for those of you who have been with me and who have done SPSS stats work, Google Analytics is a bit more intuitive. It's a little less heavy on the analytics data output, if you will, but it's probably heavier in the different ways in which that you can look at data. So you'll kind of see what I mean as you're playing along with it. It's kind of a living dashboard, as if you will. Whereas SPSS, you are telling the program what to do, what to look at, and how to synthesize and analyze a particular relationship. So without further ado, let's get started. So we were last talking about Instagram and Twitter. Snapchat. You can certainly not talk about social media marketing without Snapchat. Has about 300 million users, 187 million daily. So this is important to note. Twitter had way more accounts opened, but Snapchat tends to have about 187 million users daily, whereas it has 300 million profiles in total. So if people have a Snapchat, chances are they are using it. But if people have a Twitter app, chances are they may not be using it. So it's very, very interesting to note that between the two companies. 1 million snaps created every day. Users who are on this platform are on it for about 30 minutes. 30% of US millennials use this regularly. More than 400 million Snapchat stories are created every day. This is an excellent platform to help bring in the moment visuals and ideas to your followers. So bringing in the moments, the visual moments, the idea moments, the moments that are inspiring, the moments that really, really captivate audiences and really mobilize them and galvanize them to do and to act on things is really crucial and is really, really attractive through Snapchat. Because again, everything is transient, everything is ephemeral, messages, videos, and photos disappear. And so there's kind of this rush to capitalize on a food truck, out in Westwood in LA, or if there's a food truck in Times Square right here in New York City, wherever it may be, people want to find it, want to engage with it. And so Snapchat is really, really great for treasure hunts. It's really, really great for live things that are happening now. And so it allows its users to be broadcasters, really. And it is an excellent development in that. Let's keep going. Examples of Snapchat storytelling. So authentic video making through its storytelling app. You are able to create stories. You're able to execute interviews, talk to consumers, talk about products and services. You're able to keep stories short and consistent, and you're able to edit them and manage them and determine when they are broadcasted. You're able to consider what your audience wants to do here. You can also use it for short interviews as well. Let's keep going. Google Analytics, session 1. And so here we're going to start talking about what goes on in Google Analytics. How does it work? It's important that we went through Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and all of those other sources first. But here it's really, really crucial to start thinking about how Google Analytics might work. So Google Analytics is meant to retrieve data. Must have users use cookies, identify individual website users. So cookies are essential because we're able to follow individuals as a result. We're able to gather data as users travel through the site. JavaScript is typically used here. We're not going to need this for this particular class, but it's necessary. You want to be able to place it in each page in your website, and it provides a really nice tracking formula. Let's keep going. So we have the account, your website, company app, your site. How do you want to see your data? Main reporting, do majority of analysis, testing, make mistakes, try new filters to see data, raw data, unfiltered here as well. So we can see on the Google Analytics website right here, we have three major columns. One is responsible for your user account, as we stated earlier. We have the website and company app and your site. But then again, all the way through to the third column here, we can see, what do you want to see in your data? How do you want to see it? Do you want to put filters on it? Do you want to eliminate some data versus other kinds of data? Let's keep going. Getting started. So click on the Analytics button at the top left corner. This is going to allow you to toggle between master, test, and the raw data views. Let's keep going. Channel. Pre-made reports that you may view, including path length, top conversion paths, overview, and other queries. So conversion paths are the paths by which people take to convert consumers into sales. That's what conversion rates are. We're hoping that when we get a customer, we're able to create some sort of conversion here. Let's keep going. Dashboards and customizations. These are a few pre-configured reports. It is based on e-commerce stores. Custom reports will allow you to toggle this. So this is just for your own benefit to know here. Although typically you probably won't be worried about dashboards just yet as we move along. Let's keep going. Reports in real time. If you access real time, you're able to see audience acquisition, behavior, and conversion reports here. So we have audience acquisition, where audiences come from. We have behavior, what audiences are doing on our website, on our web page. Are they bouncing? How many sessions are there? And then conversion. How many audiences, or consumers for that matter, made a purchase of a product or service? There's also the Discovery tab, or Discover tab, that allows you to see more products. Is there value in real-time data? Is long-term trend data more valuable here? So these are important questions that we have to ask ourselves as we move along with Google Analytics. Let's keep going. Audience. So audience is right there on the left-hand side. You can see where I have the opening there. Audience views allow you to toggle geographic location, demographic location, interests, behaviors, and other instances of consumer behavior online. You may need to know who on your website is a senior citizen, or how many senior citizens you might have on your website, or how many males or how many females. And so with the magic of cookies following users, they're able to identify some information about users. And so this is repopulated into the system, and so you're able to figure out who these people are. Let's keep going. Acquisition. How did consumers find your website? How are you accruing website visitors? So acquisition will tell you where your customers are coming from here. Let's keep going. You can see where your customers are coming from. That's really what acquisition means. You can see here we have a few columns here. We can see here that we have acquisition, then behavior, and then conversions. And so acquisition, you can see where your customers, your consumers are coming from. Behavior allows you to see bounce rates, page sessions, and average session duration here. Additionally, conversion allows you to see where you've converted your visitors into customers here. Let's keep going. Behavior. So we can see here on the left-hand side, we have behavior clicked in orange. And again, make sure that as you're watching this, you're seeing what I've clicked on. That's important here. So we know we have real time with the clock next to it on the leftmost column. We know then we have the audience section that we can click on. We then have acquisition. Now we're in behavior. So here we're able to analyze and visualize how consumers engage with the site. We can see the performance of site content. We can see user engagement with content. We can see site search as well here. Internal search function that you can see how consumers are searching and what content they're finding here. And again, you can also see here that we have page views, unique page views, average time on page, bounce rate, we have 40.89% for bounce rate, and exit 21.68%. So we are gaining a lot of different information here about the page itself. I've also included a walkthrough of Google Analytics in another video that I implore all of you to watch, which will help you along as you're trying to figure out Google Analytics. Let's keep going. Conversions, goals. Goal reports. So here with goals, and you can see what I've clicked on here, you can see e-commerce reports, you can see multi-channel funnel reports, which channels are working and which channels are not. You can see that here with the photo, and you can see that in live time when you're on the Google Store or Analytics page itself. Let's keep going. Metrics and dimensions. So metric measures data, remember that, right? So quantitative measurements include counts, page views, load time, sessions, users, bounce rate, and conversion rate. So remember, page views is when people view a page. Load time, it deals with the page itself loading. Sessions, how many sessions were there, how many people were on the website itself per person. Users, how many users do you have? Bounce rate, how many people are leaving your site? And conversion rate, how many people are purchasing a product or service? Dimension here, this describes data in groups in a qualitative manner. So we're looking at segments as well here. So segments of page, of the campaign name, landing page, where are people landing? What page do people land on? What's the device type that people are using when they're on my website? What country are they from? What browser are they using? Is it Internet Explorer? Is it Firefox? Is it Chrome? Campaign name is the name of an advertising campaign you might be using to get people to get to your website. And so you can see here there are great differences between metric measures and between dimension data here as well. Let's keep going. Here we have the mobile filter. This filter right here allows us to look at how different platforms are faring here. And we can see that people who use desktops and people who use mobile devices to get to the Google Store, most people in the column under acquisition labeled users are using desktops. Does everybody see the 135,574 number? That's the amount of users they've had in that week. That's right above. And so we can see here that desktop and mobile are very, very different. Most people are certainly using desktop. We can see about 92,000 people are using desktop here versus mobile. And as you move along here, you can see that in the columns, the 3 columns after device category, it's all under acquisition. Users, new users, and sessions. When we go to the next chunk of columns, we have consumer behavior. We have bounce rate. You can see that the average bounce rate is 44.17%. But if we go down, we can see on desktops, people are less likely to bounce, if you will. But on the mobile devices, it's above 50%. That might be an issue for the Google Store. Maybe it should rethink its strategy, or perhaps the way that the website looks and feels for consumers. Pages per session. Consumers are going on way more pages per session than on mobile devices. So for desktops, pages per session, every time somebody visits a website, that is your session from the particular user. And so pages per session, every time they land on the website, how many pages are they going through? We have 4.74 here for desktop, 3.53 for mobile. We also have the average session duration. We can see people are on the desktop for about 2 minutes and 53 seconds. And then transactions and then revenue go under conversion. So clearly we can see that via desktop we are making way more money. Just about 99% of our revenue is from desktop versus mobile. So with the mobile filter, believe it or not, you're able to really learn quite a bit about consumer behavior across different platforms. Let's keep going. Mobile filter, user segments. So this allows you to select different dimensions. You're able to see different spikes in use. And so here you can kind of look at different metrics and compare them side by side. If you want to use another metric, you can click on select a metric. And so you can see users verse in that right above the box to the left. You can see users in the tab, versus, and then select a metric. And so you can compare these metrics together, and Google Analytics will allow you to do this. Let's keep going. Comparison, you're able to compare two different metrics here. So here you can see I'm comparing revenue versus sessions here. You can see that in the two boxes that are right above the chart. So if you look at the upper left-hand corner here, you can see revenue and sessions here, revenue versus sessions. And so revenue is in dark blue, sessions is in light blue. And so you can see here how revenue is influenced by the amount of sessions. And so obviously there's some sort of correlation here, because the more sessions that are involved, the more likely it is people are going to be consuming and making purchases for that matter. And you can see that you're able to compare this across day, week, and month to the right-hand side of the screen here. Let's keep going. Drop-down dates. So you can see that if you click on the date, if you scroll up, you can click on the date and you can compare to. And that's what I have checked off here, right by the mouse arrow, is that you can compare April 15, 2018 to June 15, 2018 to the previous year or period. And so you can toggle that and you can compare different sales data. And that's what this really allows you to do. You're able to see different consumer behavior. Oh, how did people shop during this time last year or what have you? Let's keep going. Revenue upon revenue. You can see here that you can compare revenue during two different time periods, month to month, year to year. And so the blue dot is April 15, 2018, June 15, 2018, and then we just compared it against the previous period, February 12, 2018 to April 14, 2018. And so what we're doing here is we're comparing revenue and trying to get a sense of how our current revenue compares to the previous one here. Let's keep going. Plotting. Be sure to click on plot. Plot individual rows by going down to the page to plot different indicators to filter data. You can see here there is no revenue for mobile and nearly all revenue is from desktop. And so this is kind of an introduction into Google Analytics. I know that I kind of went through that rather quickly, but it was just really to give you an overview. There's another video that I've produced for your class, and so you'll be able to kind of see in live time as I'm clicking through these different features. And so I implore all of you to watch that video, watch it a few times. It's a little bit more comprehensive than simply taking snapshots of Google Analytics. I recognize this, but I do want to start getting your feet wet in Google Analytics as we're doing this online version of the course itself. Well, that's all the time we have on Late Night Learning. As always, keep laughing and keep learning.